Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we will be going to do an exciting project that help us to build our portfolio. And also I have included this project in our 45 days roadmap to become a job ready DevOps engineer. So as you can see on my screen that we have some sort of diagram that you can see it's an architecture diagram that I have created. And to be honest, I've created this project, I guess, 2 years back. Yeah, that is 2023. So currently we are in 2026 initial. So I created this project 2 years back, and at that moment, I configured each and everything using Terraform. So if you have to find the repository, like how I did configure each and everything using Terraform. So there is one repository where I've created this. So there is like the repository name is Terraform for AWS. So a lot of projects I have collected in this repository itself. So this would be a golden repository for you if you want to do a lot of things for AWS using Terraform. So this would be a very good thing. Also, I've integrated Circle CI, GitHub Actions, and Jenkins as well with this pipeline, with this Terraform code. So feel free to use if you want. And in this, you can find a folder non-modularized and two-tier architecture. So there we have created all the things that you can see here in the diagram using Terraform, and also we have used the modular approach. So if I just go here, so you can see these are the modules, and then in the bloody suite folder, you will be able to find all the things that we are using. So this will help you a lot. I would say that you can also enhance this project maybe like as I've created 2 years back. So there are a lot of changes came and updates came from the respective tools. So feel free to enhance this if you want to do it using Terraform. But in today's video, we are not going to use Terraform. So the reason behind is that before using Terraform, you need to understand that how can you configure a production ready two-tier architecture, and this will help you to understand the solutions architect approach, where how can you like what are the measures you have to take to create a resilient or highly available two-tier architecture where you can deploy your application. And we are also going to deploy our application. That is not our main purpose, to be honest, but I want you to understand how can you configure each and everything, because it takes somewhere a lot of time. So I wanted to show each and everything, and to be honest, it's a fully end-to-end project. Yes, we are not using Kubernetes, but I want you to understand that, okay, how can you work with AWS environment where you have to deploy your three-tier applications in these kind of architectures. So we will be going to understand each and everything from scratch. We will also face a lot of issues, and I'm not going to escape those issues, whatever I will be facing. So I will troubleshoot all those things in front of you. So you will also understand that what are the approaches I used to take whenever is there any issues related to troubleshooting part. So that will also like my aim that you can understand. So yeah, that's it for the introduction of this video, and let's jump on the things that what are the things that we have to do. So first of all, I would like to just give a brief what are we seeing here. So I'll just would like to walk you through that what are the things that we have to do in this today's video, and maybe the video length would be around 1 or 2 hours probably. So it all depends on the troubleshooting things. So I don't know how much time it will take, but this is my assumption. So yeah, just fasten your seatbelt and let's jump on these things. So first thing first, let's understand the architecture. So we have two-tier architecture. Also, I've talked about three-tier architecture earlier as well. But first of all, I would like to cover two-tier architecture. So then we need to understand why should we go with the three-tier architecture. So the first thing is in this entire architecture is database. So for that, we are going to use RDS, where we will have writer instance and reader instance, which means we are going to use a particular dedicated RDS cluster. And the RDS cluster or instances will be in the private subnet that used to happen in the production ready environments. So no one can access your RDS instances or database. So for that, we have disabled the publicly accessible for RDS, and that's where private subnet would be there. Then we will have the second tier, which is EC2 machines, and in that EC2 machines, first of all, these would be auto scaling group. and under those auto scaling group, we will be going to deploy our application. And in the EC2s, we will have front end and back end will be deployed. So front end is written in React.js, and then we will have back end that is written in in Node.js. Also, there are few things that is you are not seeing here, like we will be going to fetch DB related informations from the parameter stores. You can also use secrets manager, but I currently prefer parameter stores because it generates a less cost or no cost. So I will be going to use, and all those credentials we will be going to store, and then we will fetch it in our backend application, and backend will use those informations to connect with RDS. So we will be going to follow that approach. Front end will be accessible from load balancer, and load balancer will be integrated with CloudFront, so we can enable the caching and a lot of things along with the caching. And we also have WAF, and after that we also integrate it with our domain, so we will be able to access our application using a domain. So for that you can see Route 53, but I have a different DNS provider. So for that I will be going to use Cloudflare, and yes, we will be going to access our application. And for the certificate, so we will be going to use ACM, which is a AWS certificate manager service. So we will be going to use that. And one thing again I would like to say, you can see the EC2s in the public subnet. So earlier it was in public subnet, this time we will be going to create all these services in our private subnet. So this way we want to ensure that our application should be only accessible through load balancer only. So EC2 must be exposed to only AWS load balancer. No random user can access the application via EC2 directly. So for that, we have multiple things we have enabled in this. So we will be going to see that. So this is brief walkthrough I did. Now let's go through the things. Let's start the implementation. So first thing first, like we will be going to set up the entire setup. So I will come again and again whenever we have to, whenever I wanted to know that, okay, what are the things that I need to set up after a particular thing. So this is my AWS console, and so this console I've opened intentionally because if I want, I can also open the EC2 directly. So I wanted to show one thing, which is cost and usage. So I always believe in FinOps things because I wanted to learn a lot about FinOps, that it's easy to create services, but like what are the things you not to do, so you can understand about costing as well. So as you can see in the January, it generates around $214. It's just 4 days. I would say this video is recorded on January 4th. I don't know when this video will be going to post it on the platform, but I would say that so far, like in the only 4 days, it generates around $210 of cost. And if I just show you, so you can see that it has the certificate manager 179. Maybe you have heard that certificate manager ACM service is free of cost by AWS. I would say yes, it is, but I did a blunder the last day when I was, doing some work. So I would say I did some blunder, and will also tell you what was their blunder. But to be honest, it won't take you more than $10 to $15. To be honest, I don't think so, because $10 to $15 could be enough if you just, I can show you exactly things. The infra was running since last 24 to 30 hours, and in that 30 hours, it generates this cost. And the main cost was relational database service. And why? Because I have created two RDS, like I have created two dedicated RDS clusters, not two instances. So that's why it generated $29. So we will also talk about the best practices that we can follow for the in terms of costing as well. For EC2, you can see it barely generates $2. So it is fine. And for compute, you can also see it is, 0.71 cents or 71 cents around. Then we have VPC. So VPC makes sense because we were using net gateways. So that's why it generates a cost. But to be honest, I'm not, I don't want to scare you. I just want to be honest with you, because if I won't be honest with you, so you are ending up with just learning by creating instances or machines. So I want you to understand things from very basics, that costing is very important for us as a DevOps or cloud engineer. It is very important part for our job. So that's why. So also I will make sure what are the things that I don't touch whenever I have to create a certificate manager service. So let's start the implementation. And first thing, we have to set up our virtual private network. So I will just go to the VPC, and in the VPC we have to create a lot of things, like we have to create entire VPC section. So I will just go to the VPC section, and here I will click on create VPC. Now there are two ways to create a VPC. Either you can go with VPC only or you can go with VPC and more. I would like to go with simply VPC and more, and there you can see that it has the things. So first of all, I will generate my own name. So I will provide the name is two-tier VPC. Then we have subnet. So we have public and private subnet. So I will go with the public subnet is. So we will just copy the prefix. So we can identify that, okay, these are the two-tier related things. So it will be easy for cleanup part as well. Then I will provide the name is pub sub one. So pub sub one. Then I will copy the same thing here and use this pub sub two. Then here I just need to provide the private subnet. This would be private subnet 2. So public and private subnets we will have two, and both things will be in different AZs. So the one would be 1A and the other would be in 1B. Then we have route table. So public route table, I will create this like public RT. Then we will just remove this thing. Then I will just copy this, and here I will just provide private. The third one, I'm not going to create it because I will simply play with two route tables. So I will just keep it as it is. And I think that's fine for now. And we can just click on create VPC. And you can see that it is getting started. So yeah, let's wait for it. So yeah, services has been created. Now let's go to let's select the main VPC that we are using. So this is two-tier VPC. So the first thing we will review our services that we have created. So I will just refresh it and we can see that it created the VPC. So we have to start checking the things from subnet side. So as you can see, these are the subnets. So we need to look into the public subnet. So I will check any of the public subnet right now, and we need to check whether it is enabled the IPv4 or not. And here you can see auto assign public IPv4 is no. So that's why we have to enable it. Yes. So I will go to the action and we will enable the subnet settings. So to enable the IPv4, we just need to select this and the rest thing would be as it is. And I will click on save. And the same thing we have to do for public subnet one. So I will select this and go to the action and go to the subnet settings and I enable it. Now this is fine. Now we have to configure the route tables. So because private subnet is already configured to other things. Now you can see that the subnets are associated unintentionally. We did that. So you can see the subnet association that was done by AWS itself, but we have to configure it according to our requirement. So first of all, we will be going to create a net gateway because net gateway will be going to be useful for our private subnets. So because it takes some time as well, so I will just create the subnet. So here just click on subnet. So here I will click on create net gateway and I will provide the name to tier and then we can write it down NJW. Then we can keep it zonal. There is regional available, but I don't want to go with this right now because it generates a lot of cost and I want to make this infrastructure multi-AZs, not a multi-region. So it's fine to go with this. Then we will going to select our subnet. So as we need it for public subnet, so we will be going to select for public subnet. Then the connectivity type should be public as we need to provide the internet access to our private machines. And then we will allocate elastic IP. So I will just click on it and it will create the IP. So that is it. Now we will be going to create the net gateway. After creating the net gateway, we need to set up the route table. So first of all, let's set up the public route table because private needs net gateway. So that's why. So now let's check the route gateway first, and we can see that it is already have internet gateway attached. That is again done automatically. Then we have subnet associations. So also it is also configured correctly. Then we have to check the private route table. I will go to the subnet associations, and here I will select one more private subnet, that would be private subnet 2, and click on save associations. Then in the route table, we have things like it created a VPC endpoint that I don't need it. If you want to transfer the S3 objects to your private EC2 instance, so you can use this, but I don't need it right now. So this is not useful for our case, because we need to provide the internet to our machines. So I will click one more route, and here I will provide 0, like for all internet. Then we will select the net gateway. So here you can see net gateway, and it will have this net gateway. Now I will click on save changes. Then we can see that it is updated. So now I can see that the networking part has been completed. Then we have to jump on to the next thing, which is security groups. So so we can also create the security group, while creating the services like RDS or EC2 machines. But I want you to understand how security groups works and why you should follow those best practices when you're creating the security group. So we need to understand that security group, how it works. So for that, I will just, open one diagram, and with the help of that, we will understand. So I will write SG2 tier. So this would be my RDS instance, or you can take a cluster. I will just increase the size of it. Okay. Then we will have our front end EC2, which will have front end and BE. Then we will have our load balancer, we can say ALB. Okay, so now we need three security groups. So first thing first is that this, so we have to create a dedicated security group for RDS cluster, and the security group needs to allow that only EC2 should be able to access or send the request to RDS cluster, and RDS can allow it. So that's how the logic works. So if I just use this one, so I will say that this is the security group for, and it will allow EC2 and also for a particular port. So port would be 3306, because we will be going to use MySQL as our database. So that's why we need to open the 3306 with source, with SGID of EC2. Okay. So whatever the ID of security group is, we will have to mention in this. So it will say that this machine only will be allowed to access the things from this RDS cluster. That would be for RDS. Then we will have the same, we will have another security group, and this will say that allow ALB, and port can be multiples, but we would like to go with 80, 443, and 22 for SSH. And also we might need to open 3500. Like I'm just saying, because I'm not sure. It depends on the application as well, connectivity of the application. But 3500 is because of we need to host our backend. Like 99%, I don't think so that we have to open it, but we will troubleshoot it, because I did not check that thing. So yeah, as we are doing the application deployment as well, so I want to check whether our app connectivity will be going to work or not. So I will just keeping it like that. Then SGID would be ALB, because whatever the security group created for AWS load balancer, so it will have the security group ID in this EC2. Then the next thing would be, we will be going to say is, at the end, application will be going to access for all the users. So for that, we have to allow all, but this time we will be going to restrict the ports. So I would like to keep for 443 only. So we will going to keep it, and SGID, we don't have to, provide any SGID. This time we will go with 0.0.0/0. So I hope it makes sense to you. So let's create the security group. And as you can see that we have to provide the references of other security groups. So we have to create the security groups in like from bottom to top order. So first of all, we will be going to create load balance AWS load balancer security group. So in the VPC itself, we can find the security group section. Here you can see security groups. Then I will click on create security group. I will keep two tier ALBS. Okay. Then we will say allow all. We have to mention this security group. In the inbound rules, we will be going to provide HTTPS, and this would be anywhere IPv4, or like it can also be anywhere IPv6 if you think, but for now we will just go with IPv4. Then outbound rules, no need. So ALB load balancer security group has been configured. Then we will have then we will need to create one more security group, which is like the second security group we have to create for two tier EC2. Then we can say allow 80, 443, 22, and 3500. Again, I'm not going to open 3500 directly first. We will just check it whether we need to open it or not. So I will open it, that HTTP. First of all, let's just enter all the types. HTTPS, then we would have 22. I don't need 22 again, but I'm just keeping it for yourself. How are you going to SSH into the EC2 machine? So for that, I'm just opening it. But if you think you're going to SSH using systems manager or session manager, so you don't need to do it. So this is, I think, fine for now. And let's provide the things. So first of all, 80, it should come from the ALBSG, then the HTTP as well. Then for SSH, we can keep it 0.0 point 0, or I would like to keep it for now is my IP. So it would be, it always good to prefer this IPs kind of things. So this would be good. Then I will click on create security group. Then the last security group we have to create it for RDS. So I will write root here RDS. I will say allow 3306 on EC2. Then I will select the VPC, and in the rules, I will select for MySQL, and you can see MySQL. And for that custom, you just need to provide the root tier EC2. You have to make sure that it should be EC2, and that is fine. I think we made this decision, and yes, that's correct. So even we won't be able to access to our RDS, we just would be able to access using our machine itself. So we are not going to do that, to be honest. Our application is handling each and everything, so I don't want to touch our RDS. So that's why I just, I want to do that. So I will click on create security group, and security group part has been completed. And somewhere you did a very good thing, because it is very important when you're thinking in terms of security. So this is very good thing that we have made, that we did. Now the next thing that we have to do, we will be going to create our RDS, which will be database service. So I will search for RDS. So here are the DB instances, and we will click on create database. Now before create database, we need to create one thing, which is, I just forgot that we have to create subnet groups. So whenever you have to create a RDS instance or cluster, you have to create the subnets group where in which subnets you want to create your RDS. So for that, we have to provide the subnet group. I will keep two tier DB subnet group, or I think it's would be good if we keep subnet group. Then we have to select the VPC. So make sure that you should select this VPC that we have created, two tier VPC. Otherwise, if it would be created in other VPC, we won't be able to access, or our machine won't be able to access, because it would be in the different network. Then the next thing would be, I will just provide the same description. Then here we have to provide the regions. mostly like our subnets are created in 1A and 1B, so we don't need to provide all, but I'm just keeping it for now. So it will be able to fetch all the subnets from all the AZs. Then we can see that we have multiple subnets. So make sure you select the private subnets only. So this is the private subnet. Then we have another private subnet. Then we can click on create. Okay, you can also confirm from here that it's a private subnet 1 and 2. And I will click on create. So the subnet group has been completed. Now let's click on databases and click on create database. It depends on you whether you want to provide each and every configuration. I would love to provide each and every configuration from my side. So I will click on full configurations, and we need MySQL. I will select this. Then for the community, I would love to go with the updated if we have anything like that. So let's see what is okay. So we can go with 8.4.6. Like always go with the latest -1 version. Then I will keep it, so then the template we can go with either we can go for production where it will provide a lot of things, either we can go with the other things. So free tier, it is saying that you should go with one instance. So I would love to go with dev test, and in that we can see multi-AZ DB instance deployment, where it will create a primary DB instance with a non-readable standby instance in a separate availability zone. This setups provide 99.95% updates, like uptime, and in this one instance it will provide you 99.9 like 5 99.5%, so around 40.45% difference is there. And it provides you the redundancy across AZs, so whenever the instance will be down, so it will have the standby like endpoint, so you won't be able to see if you configure this one. So in that you will be able to see two instances where it will have two readable standby, but again it generates a lot of cost for you, so I don't want to go with that, and I will simply go with that. In that we will just see one instance, but if the instance will be somewhere down because of something, so it will have the standby endpoint and it will have all the data already, so the redundancies across AZs you can see, but in this you won't be able to see anything. So if this down, so you don't have any other options and you have to do things on your own. So that's it. This is the thing that we are going to select. Then we have to provide the identifier. I will keep two tier RDS DB. I will keep the credentials admin. It depends on you, whatever you want to keep it. Then now the secrets management, how can you work on that? So managed in AWS Secrets Manager, it's the most secure thing. I would say no, I don't need it because again it generates a cost. So that's why we will be going to use self-managed. And here we just need to provide our own credentials. So I will just go to the last pass and I will generate one credential. I will generate one password and always try to, unselect this symbol option because sometimes AWS RDS doesn't contain few of the symbols, so that's why it is very crucial whenever you are working with RDS with by generating these kind of credentials using symbols. So I would go with copy password for now, and I will keep select this password. I will just paste the password here. And now we can see that the password is strong, and you can also see that cannot contain any of the following symbols like slash. So that's why I was saying that I don't want to go with the symbol section. I will select. I will also copy this password. So I need it to store somewhere that I was talking about. So now the next thing that we have to select the instance type. So it all depends on the requirements. For now, we are going to go with burstable classes because it generates a very less cost. So for that, we have multiple types of instance. I will try to find T3A, but yeah, it doesn't have. So we can simply go with micro. I don't need to, use any other big instance because our application is very small and it won't have that much read and write operations. So I will just simply go with T3 micro. Then it is fine. Allocated store, I would go with 20 gigs, always focusing on the storage as well because it generates a lot of cost. Then we have provisioned IOPS, so we can we can keep this as default, and also it needs to increase the allocated storage of 400 gigs. So if it would be on, like if I just try to provide 450, so we can specify this, but for now I will just keep it 20 gigs. Then if you want to configure any additional storage, so if you want to enable the storage scaling, so in case it happens, so can also do those things as well. But for that we have to allocate the storage 22, which should be minimum, but we specify 20, but we don't need it. That's fine for the storage options. Then we have connectivity. So how I want to connect with the instance. So I will say that don't connect to an EC2 compute resource. Again, you can do that, but I don't want to do that right now. We have multiple options. It all depends on your approach. So according to that, you can configure it. Then we have virtual private network. We have to select the subnet group. So this is the VPC that we have created. And in that VPC, we have this subnet group that we have created, two-tier subnet group. After that, we have to configure public access. So always select this no, because RDS doesn't assign a public IP address to the database, and only Amazon EC2 instances and other resources inside the VPC can connect to your database. So that's why we need it. Then we have to select the security group. So we don't need to create a new security group. We will be going to use the security group that we have already created. So I will click on two-tier RTS that we have created. After that, things are fine. Database port is 3306. If you want to change it, you can change it according to your requirement. Then database authentication, it is fine. Let it be as it is. Then we have monitoring. I don't want to go with enhanced monitoring. It's fine to go with this. If I want, I can also use error logs to, we can export it in to our CloudWatch logs, but CloudWatch it's already expensive. And here you can see that the estimated monthly cost, we can see that the DB instance would be $24. Then we have storage $4, but we are not going to use for monthly. So that's why it will take a less amount of cost. And then I will click on create. And I hope we have each and everything. And we can see that the instance is getting started to create. And it will take around, 5 to 10 minutes. So meanwhile, we can configure our other services as well. So let's check in the architecture, whatever the things we have to do the things other than that. So here we can see that we configured the RDS, also like networking part has been completed. Now these are the things, like you can see 5 things we is pending, and all depends on this EC2 and auto scaling group. So for that we have to do it. So now, like we have to configure things related to our machine EC2 machines, where our front end and back end application will be hosting. So we have to see that thing as well. So for now, let's check where are we right now in our RDS. So if I just click on this, we can see we don't have any endpoint on all those things. So for now, we can't do anything. So let's create our machine. So for EC2, we are not going to directly create our auto scaling group, because we need to first create our launch template. And in the launch template, we have to deploy our application. So whenever the application, because the front end and back end application needs to deploy automatically without doing anything. Whenever the new EC2 instance will be going to create by auto scaling group, it should already the application up and running. So that's why we have to do it. Maybe it looks like a confusion for you, but we will see what are the things that we have to do in that as well. So first of all, I will just create one instance where we will try to deploy our machine, where we will deploy our front end and back end application. So I will click on launch instances, and here I will write two-tier EC2 for launch template. Then the machine would be, I will keep it as Amazon Linux. After that, I will go with simply T3A.micro, because it is cheaper as compared to T3 family. I will click on this. Then I will select my key pair. Then make sure to select the VPC as well. So this would be two-tier VPC. Then we will have to select the public subnet. It is already enabled. Then select existing security group. So like for now, it doesn't matter, because this instance is not going to use it. We are going to terminate later when we are going to set up our auto scaling group. But for now, I will just select two tier EC2 and we need to change this something. So let's do one more thing. We can also select default one. So this way we can, manipulate the rules as well. And storage, it's fine to go with 8. Then in the advance, we have to do something where we have to provide the permissions for AWS services to our EC2 instance. So I've already created one instance profile. So you can see here SSM instance score. So if I just select it, so like it is already created. So I would like to show you how you can create it. So you just need to click on create new profile. And also I would like to show you what are the permissions that I have already provided. So here you can see that it has a, create role. Click on create role. And here you just need to provide EC2. And after that, you just need to select the EC2 role for systems manager. Like always go with this. Then click on next. And here you can see that you have one policy. After that, you have to provide the name. Now, once you provide the name, it will create the role, okay, along with the policy already you have attached. So once you will created that role, so let's suppose I've created the role which is SSM managed instance core role. You have to come here and you have to create one more policy. I will show you the policy name is SSM full access. Now, why do we need SSM full access? Because our EC2 needs to access the values of from the parameter stores, whatever we are going to store, and those values is related to RDS, because we don't want to hard code our credentials for our applications in EC2s. So that's why I'm using this. So this way it will be able to fetch all the values from the parameter stores, because it also contains a lot of parameter store related information as well. So always go with the principle of least privilege. So if you want, you can also specify a dedicated policy for that. You can create your own custom policy, but for now I'm just keeping it SSM full access. So this is that, and I have already selected this, and I will click on launch instance and it will start creating the policy. I will just delete it. After that, let's see whether the RDS has been created or not. So yes, it is modifying, and we can see the endpoint and all other stuff. So let's go to the parameter store first, because maybe you're getting confused because of that. So let's try to do that. So I will just select search for parameter store. And here you can see, okay, let me search for me. And as soon as search for this, so you can see systems manager feature, which is parameter store. I will open it in our new tab. Then you can see that we have already created the parameter store. So I will delete all this parameter store, and we will be going to recreate all those things. So I will just select all and then delete it. Now we will create the parameters again, and the first thing I will just get that. So the first path would be my app db/host. So host means that the endpoint of our RDS. So for that, we need to get the RDS endpoint, and I will copy this. And now you can also, there are multiple types of parameters value you can store. So as we know that the endpoint is confidential thing, so I will keep it secure string. So you can see encrypt sensitive data using KMS from your account or another account. So it means that like parameter store also encrypt your values if you use secure string, but if you specify in string, so you don't have to decrypt it. So it will be in a plain text. So I will just paste it and I will click on parameter. And the next thing that we will be going to do is we will select this path, and these are the paths. If you want, you can follow the environment dedicated path like /dev/my app. Then you can feel free to add the credentials according to your applications. So for that we have to DB is our service, I would say. So this time we will keep the name, and as I can see that in the name there was something. What was the name and what should be the value of name? So let's check that thing. So this is our application, and also I would like to explain you about the application first. So we have this repository. So the repository you will be able to find in on my GitHub profile. So I will add the repository link in the description of this video. You can feel free to check out. And there we have, backend, database, and front end. The application was dedicated for Docker file for Dockerize and deploying on Kubernetes, but also I want you to understand, but the same application I'm using it for deploy on AWS on 2 tier or 3 tier architectures. So this is our backend, and you can see we have the fetch db config from SSM. This is our code that we have, and you can see that we have all the 4 parameter stores. And let's see what are the things we need from name. So earlier I was creating this, so let me check what is the requirement of this. So we can simply check with name. So the name is dedicated for database. So we have to provide the database name, and the database name I will keep is school because the application is for school student and teacher portal kind of thing. I will click on create parameter. Then we have to create a user. I will copy this. Then I will paste it here, and in the user, as we have already provided the user by AWS itself, which was admin. So this would be this, and also this is secure string. I will click on create parameter. Then we will have password. So I will click copy this and create a parameter, and we don't have any password thing right now. I will click select the secure string, and then I will provide the password. So I have the password. Let me get the password. So this is the password, and I will click on create parameter. So we can see that it is we have already set up the parameter store, all the things. Then we can see our instance is running, and I hope so things are, yeah, so instance is already in the perfect running stage. Now if I click on connect, I don't need to connect via SSH. I will just use this session manager. I will click on connect, and after that, let's wait for it configuration. Now we have to log in as a EC2 user because it's an Amazon machine, not a Ubuntu machine. Then I will go to the default directory. So first thing first, we have to, clone this repository. So for that, I will just go to my account, and I need to get the repository URL. So here you can see this is the repository I have, and I will. So let me tell you that you are not going to see that code in master branch. For that, you need to, go to this branch, which is 2 tier test, and I will copy this, and I will clone this repository, and I will specify the branch which is 2 tier test, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So first of all, first it doesn't contain any packages, so we have to install those packages. So for that, I have commands. So I will also explain you what are the things we are, doing. The first thing you can see that we are updating the package, then we are setting up the node because our application is node based, so that's why we need it. Then we need to install Node.js and Git, as you know that Git was not working earlier. And then we need PM2. I will tell you why we need PM2. So I will select this, and it will install all the packages that we need. So let's wait for it. And we can see that there are some issues like deprecation warning, and that is fine because our application is, is based on Node.js 18. And if you want, you can also use upgraded or 22 Node.js or 24. It's all depends on you. Now we can see we have some issues. Like we can see that our things are working fine now. So yeah, everything is working fine. The packages has been installed. So I will just clear the screen, and let's clone the repository again. And we can see that the repository has been cloned. And you can also see that the netgate everything is working fine because we are able to go to the internet, and we are able to download all the packages. I will go to the repository. Then we have already the code, we have backend and front end. And so first thing first, we need to, connect our, so like we need to connect our backend to our database, that is RDS. So I will go to the backend. So whenever you are trying to deploy your applications like 3 tier, so you have to start from database, then backend, and then front end. So this way you won't be getting any a dependency error. So this is backend, and the first thing we have to do is we have to run the npm install to install all the packages. So it is started running all the, starting downloading all the packages. It will create node modules folder. So let's wait for it. So now we can see that the package is already downloaded. And if we check, we would have, one folder which is node modules. So now let's run our backend application using node, and our application name is like our code is stored in server.js. So I will select this and enter in this. And now you can see that as soon as I run this, it like within no time, it's just saying that database verified, connected to RDS, tables ready, servers running on port 35. Okay. So this way that we can see that our application is running fine. But the point is that as soon as I, like this is running in foreground, and I want to run it in background, and I also want that it should run always whenever the new instance will be running. So it should be running automatically. I don't need to run the command like node server.js or all those things. So for that, what we can do, we can just simply, first of all, we will check using this command, we will check our ports. So currently we just, 22 port is running, and we are expecting 3500, but right now we just, terminate this process. So that's why it's not appearing here. So, for this, we have to use PM2, and that's where PM2 works, where you can run your Node.js applications in the background, and it can also always run at boot time as well. So whenever the instance is getting created, so it will automatically start running your Node.js application. So for that, I have command, which is, I'll just copy the command from here. So here you can see that PM2 start server.js, and then we are providing the name of our app is my app. And as soon as you do it, you will see that the application is running. The user is EC2 user. After that, currently the application is running, and if I just check using the port, we can see the application is running, but it won't run on boot up time. For that, we have to configure a few things. So second thing we have to do, we have to save this configuration. So for that, we run pm to save. Then we have also need to configure pm to startup. So whenever the instance is getting created or new instances coming up, the application should automatically start at startup point. So I will run this command, which is pm to startup. And as you run this command, you will see that to set up the startup script, copy paste the following commands. So this command we have to copy here. I'll just copy this command and I will clear this screen. And here I will just enter this, and here we can see that uh, freeze a process list on reboot via. We just need to, like, for that we need to run this. But so we can see that there are two things we can see, and again I will run pm to save, and this way it will configure the things in the, like, it will automatically save all those things in here dump.pm2 files. So yeah, this is about our backend, and our backend is running. If we check, so this is 35 port, it is running. Now we have to configure our front end. So I will just clear the screen, and now let's go back to the front end. And now we have multiple things here. So the things related to us, which is nginx.configuration, and then we have src folder and few of the public things already there. So let's deploy our front end application. So first of all, we will just install the packages. For that, I will run command npm install, and yeah, let's wait for it. So we can see a lot of, deprecated issues. And if you feel that you don't want to see that, just, run the commands provided by npm itself, like npm update or audit fix. So you can do that. And if you think that our repository should be updated, so just raise the PR with the evidences that whatever you've done, like the screenshot that your uh, packages has been updated, and I would be happy to merge that PR. So you can also contribute to the projects on the GitHub as well. So this way you can also contribute to the community as well. Then after that, you can see that we have like SBF, NPF fund, and these commands you can run according to that, and then you can also check it out whether the packages has been updated or not. Okay. Now we have to build our package. So for that, I will clear the screen, and this time we will run npm run build. This way it will create the build folder and the dist, and it will have the all the things related to content. So let's do that, and we can see that app is getting built, and let's wait for it. I think it's getting stuck, so I will just refresh the systems manager. We can also check the monitoring part. Maybe due to some CPU utilization, it went up. Yeah, I think that was the issue. So somewhere it's not able to handle this that much traffic on the micro. But no worries, we can also enable the public IP if we do not, if we need to do that. But yeah, my bad. I forgot to create this in private, but it's not mandatory because we are creating the launch template, and the auto scaling group will create the things in auto scaling group when we will be going to create auto scaling group. So make sure we will be going to select private instance. So let me again refresh this, and in here I can see that we are able to connect. It should be working fine. Let's try again. If not, we can also use EC2 machine. We can also use our terminal. So from terminal, we can try to SSH. So let me do that thing. Actually, maybe it's not working for us. So I will just open the terminal. Okay, so I will just copy the command to SSH, and, and I'm expecting that I should be able to SSH. Let's check the let's check the monitoring first. That seems to okay. We can see a lot of traffic is coming on this, and a lot of load is getting it's taking, so that's why it's not working. And what I'll do directly. So let's do one thing. I will just stop this instance in front of you, and after stopping instance, we will also check whether our PM2 is working fine, our backend application is working fine or not. Then we will increase the change the instance type to let's go for medium for now. So let's wait for it, and let me check whether we are able to change the instance type right away or not. So I will click on this, and we can check change instance type. Right now it's in not, because the instance is not properly stopped, because it needs to stop all the processes that is running. So let's wait for it, and I would like to show exactly the troubleshooting things that we try to do. So earlier I was using medium instance, but I was thinking that it should be working fine because the application is not that much heavy. But yeah, I'm wrong, and that's good to know that I'm wrong, so I can learn a more. So yeah, I'm waiting for it to stop it, then we can create it. So let's wait for it. It's been, I think, 2 to 3 minutes, and I'm hoping that it should be in a stopped state. So let's refresh it. And yeah, again, it's in a stopping state. I don't know. I can understand if you just check the monitoring state. So it should be, went down, and it should be went up to 68. That was a surprise for me. Okay, now we are in the stopped state. So now we are happy to change the instance type, and we can see the instance type here. And this time we just keep it medium. So I will just select for medium. Then after that, I will click on change instance type, and then we will restart the instance, and this time the IP would be changed, and I don't mind if there is an issue with that, it's fine. So yeah, let's wait for getting started. Let me try with connect whether we are able to do it or not. No, it's not. Okay, let's try with the SSH client. Like I'm expecting that we should be able to do that. Yes, so we can do that, and I will write yes. Again, we are logged in as a root user. I will clear the screen. First of all, check the existing thing should be running or not. So so let's check first that our PM2 or our backend application is running or not. So I will just check it via this. And we can see this. So it means that yes, it's working fine. Now we will go to our front end, and we were building our package at npm run build. So we'll just write npm run build, and here we can see this. If I just check the monitoring for this, okay, no worries. Let's check what will happen. Let's wait for some time. Yeah, so finally we can see that our build package has been created, and now we have to host our application. So like we are going to use Nginx to host our application. So for that, I need to install Nginx first. So to install the Nginx, we will use this command sudo yum install nginx -y, and now it is getting installing. And yes, it is installed. Now we have to, all the things related to our code, we have to provide it or send it or share or copy it in our at our one location. So for that, so we need to create that directory first, but let's check whether it is present or not. Okay, so it is not present there. So we will create mkdir hyphen var dub dub dub. Then we will be going to provide one more folder, which is this front end. I need to provide the sudo. Then after that, I will be going to copy all the content of the build folder, and I will copy this. Yep, yeah, no, my bad. Now, yeah, it is there, and let's verify once more, and we can see our all content of front end is present. Now we have to configure our Nginx to serve this content. Otherwise, if we won't do that, so first of all, let me show you. So you can see that our application is stopped of Nginx, so we have to start that application as well. And this is currently is stopped, and we have to do two things. It should become a startup application, so whenever the instance is getting created or starting instances is starting, so it should start the service like backend service. So I will do it enable. Then after that we will do restart. So we can see that like it was not started, but again I just did that. Now let's check the status. So we can see that the application is loaded, and we can also verify via ss command, and we can see our application is running portably. If I just try to check the content, so we can see that it is showing welcome to Nginx. Now we have to serve our content that we have deployed or we have built. For that, we have to create a configuration that used to present. So for that, I will become a root user, and I will just show you which present in etc nginx, and in the conf folder, you can see the configuration. So currently there is nothing present here, and we have to create our own configuration. and we have already the configuration. So if you just see the nginx.configuration, so we have this configuration where it is a default server, then it is a server name. Now we will change the server name to our domain, where we have to map our application to the particular domain. Then the content is serving here at front end, like the location that we have already provided. Then this is a location to access our backend application as well. So this way we can, access the application. So whenever we will try to hit slash API, so it will go to 3500. Then the things that we can see that at the location slash, it will serve the index.html, which is our front end. So hope you understand. This is a backend thing. This is a front end thing. Then this is a content serving location. Then this is a server.name. I will change the name first, and also you can also change according to your requirement. If you don't want to do that, don't do. Like if you don't have any domain, you don't need to provide anything. I'm just doing it, to let you explain how can you leave it the domains. So this is my main domain where my application is hosted. So I don't want to touch it. I just added this subdomain, so I will be able to access my application on the subdomain. Now I will save and exit, and we will just copy this nginx.configuration at the location of slash etc slash nginx, and in the console D. Now we will restart our nginx machine. First of all, let's check the syntax of this configuration file. So we can see that the syntax of this configuration file is okay, and also it is the configuration file test is successful. Okay. Now we have to reload our nginx whenever you update the configuration files. So I will write systemctl reload nginx service, and we can see this. Now if I try to access localhost, so we are still can see welcome to Nginx, and that is not, that is not a big problem, because it used to happen because there is a cache problem. I used to say because I was also facing the same issue, and when I was trying to access it from browser, it was working fine. So I will, as our instance is public, so I will try to access it from here, and let's see whether we are able to access it or not. So first of all, it is, I think it is normal because it is on HTTPS. So we just need to change on HTTP. And also, let me check the security group because we made some changes in our security group. So we have already two rules. So I would like to check each and every rule. So let's check the first. So we can see default, and what we can do, we can just provide 80 HTTP to my IP. Let me try with that first. And we will just refresh it. Also, we can try using incognito mode, and HTTP is there. Yeah, so now we can see that this site doesn't support a secure connection. I will click on continue to site, and the application is getting, yeah. So we can see student teacher portal. So it means that it's working fine. Now the UI is taking some time, so let's wait for it. Now we can see yes. Now if I click on student, I should be able to see the things. Now if I just enter any records like EKS deploy 34, whatever it can be, and we can see that the student added. Now if I want to delete, we can also delete that thing as well. So again, I will do this thing, and I want to show one more thing, like if I am adding this data, so I will add few more dummy data, and we will also understand. Now, like, let me tell you why I'm doing this, why I have added this data. So the reason is that, the RDS is already running. So I want you to make sure that when we will be going to, delete this instance, and then we will be going to create auto scaling groups. And with the help of auto scaling group, it will create more instances. So the data should be persist at that time as well. So that's why I've created this dummy data. I'm not going to delete it. So now the application is working fine. Everything is fine. If everything is running perfectly, we will just create a AMI. Now there are multiple approaches. Either you can create the scripts to deploy your applications. So maybe you can ask me that, Aman, it's not an ideal approach to deploy applications front end back end on the EC2. It can have a different approaches, and I totally agree with that, because it all depends on your approach, like which approach do you feel is ideal or easy to deploy your application, because the end goal is to deploy your application with no issues, I would say. So this would be I'm just showing this approach that I'm using, and it is pretty handy for me. So that's it. Now we will create a AMI from this. And for that, you need to, click comes in under the action section. Here you will see image and templates. Now click on create image, provide the image name. So we will provide two-tier AMI, front and back end. Okay. Then each and everything, like if you want to reboot instance, I would say that keep it as it is and then click on create image. And after, clicking on create, and under the images section, you can say AMIs, and then you will see that there one status you will see, which is pending status of this two-tier AMIF front and backend. And it is somewhere take around 4 to 5 minutes, because it reboots that instance, and then it creates some AMI. It takes a snapshot of the entire EC2, so that's why it takes somewhere 4 to 5 minutes, and we have to wait for that minute. After that, we will be going to create auto scaling group. So let's wait for it. So let's refresh it, and again it's in a pending state, and it's in a pending state. But we can leverage this time, and because we have to wait a lot of time for these things, so we can invest some time to create other things. And don't get confused, I will just walk you through the entire infrastructure. So right now, this thing we have done, and we are on the edge of starting of this thing. So because our application is started and working fine, so we need to create the launch template from AMI. So this part is somewhere pending. So like meanwhile, we can like, as we are waiting for AMI creation, so we can create our load balancer. You can also create load balancer while auto scaling group, but I would recommend to create AWS load balancer separately, because this will help you to understand what are the things you have to provide, and also it needs target groups. So that's why I wanted you to create this. But as we can see that already the AMI is in the available status, so we can directly jump onto the launch template. No worries. We will be also creating the load balancer separately, so no need to worry. So let's create the launch template. So as you can see here in the under instances option, you can see section, you can see launch template. So click on this, then click on create launch template. After that, I will provide two-tier LT launch template, and then we have to select the AMI's option, which is my AMI and owned by me. And then in that, you will have to select your front and back end two-tier AMI. After that, either you can select this things like T3 medium, or you don't. If you don't want, you can also select in while creating the auto scaling group. So I'm just selecting things from here right now, and I will just select two-tier EC2, and rest of the things would be as it is. And make sure that provide this thing. This is very important, otherwise your backend will break because of the SSM manager policies. So I will go with SSM instance profile role. Rest thing would be as it is. We don't need to provide any user data and all those things. Now we will click on create launch template. So now we can see that the launch template has been created successfully, but we are not going to directly create auto scaling group. We will be going to create first load balancer. So I will select this load balancer. Then I will click on load balancer, and we have to create the application load balancer. So I'll click on create. I will provide the name to tier LB. Now the load balancer needs to be internet facing, because the application is needs to accessible from the end user, and the end user won't be in the same network. So that's why we need to keep it. And for the load balancer IP address type, I would simply go with IPv4. I don't need more anything else. Then the VPC thing. So I will go with two-tier VPC. After that, we will be going to select the AZs. So we can select this, use like this AZs. And as it is internet facing, so the AZs would be, the subnets would be public subnets. Now the security group. So we will have the security group is ALBSG. After that, the port would be 80 and forward to target groups. Now it needs a target group. So we will be going to create one more service, which is target group. So I will just come here, and here we can see the target group section. So I will open this target group in the new tab, and I will click on create target group. Then we will have like what type of target you want to create. So we need to create an instance types target. So we will select this instances. Then I will provide the name of the target group. It is two-tier TG. Now the protocol would be 80. You don't have to do anything. And again, the VPC would be, this would be our two-tier VPC. Then each and everything would be as it is. And after that, I will click on next. We don't have to select any of the things right now. So I will click on next, and then I will click on create target group. After that, we just need to refresh this, and here we will see our target group. And after that, we don't need to integrate things right now. So we will just click on create load balancer, and also the load balancer will be in provisioning state. So it also needs some time to ready. So now we can jump onto creating the auto scaling group. So I will click on auto scaling group. Then we will provide two-tier ASG as our auto scaling group name, and the launch template would be two-tier LT, and the default version would be as it is. Then we will click on next. After that, we need to make sure that the VPC would be two-tier VPC, and the AZs. So this time we need to select private AZs. So this is like the private subnet 2. Then we will have private subnet 1. Now availability zone distribution, you can either go with balanced only, or you can go with balanced best effort. I would go with balanced best effort, and I will click on next. Then we have load balancing, so we can see that attached to an existing load balancer. So we will simply go with attached to an existing load balancer. We will select this target groups, and there is no VPC lattice integration we want to do, so it's fine. And after that, we will just need to click on next, and this time we have to specify the desired capacities, like capacities minimum and maximum, all those things. So here we will be going to provide the desired capacity as 1, and the minimum would be also 1, and the maximum desired capacity we would like to keep is 5 for now. So we can see the auto scaling whether it's working or not. Then we can enable the target tracking scaling policy. So average utilization, if go with 50, so it will scale up the instance so that we can see. And the instance maintenance policy, so for now I would like to keep launch before terminating, and this will like prioritize availability, and maybe it will increase the cost. So you go with mixed behavior or whatever you want to choose, so you can go with it. Then after that, the capacity reservation, I would like to go with default. I don't have any reserved instances or savings plan something, so it's fine. Now I will click on next, and everything is fine. I will click on next, and that is it. Let's create the auto scaling group. So now let's refresh it, and we can see that one instance is already created. And if I just select this, and if we go to the instance management, so let's go to directly to the instance, and I will just refresh this target group, and we are expecting that the target should be automatically added, as we have already used the auto scaling group. So that auto scaling groups already did those kind of things for us. So if we check the health check, so it is already working fine, and the on port 80 application is running fine, I would say. Now if we try to access our load balancer, so let's go for load balancer as well. So let's copy this DNS and try to access the application. And again, we have to make sure that it should be HTTP only. Now, like as I just open it in the incognito, it's working fine. And if I just need to now, I need to just click on continue to site. as it's taking time, so that's why we have to enable a lot of things like caching and all those things. So we will do that thing as well. Yeah, let's wait for it. Also, if you want to check whether the, using the NS lookup, so you can check IPs for that. So whether it is redirecting on the subnets that we have selected, so the subnet should be public. So I will just click on find DNS records, and we can see that we have two IPs and all two IPs are public. So that is fine. Still, it's not working. Let's see what's the issue. So I think there is some issue. It's not working at all right now. So let's do one thing. Let's try to check the our security group. So maybe we will find some issues. So already it is showing that, allow all. So why it's not working? So let's check. Okay, that makes sense because it is open for 443. So for now, I'll just open HTTP port. It should always work for 443 or HTTPS request, or we should also do something like it should redirect the HTTP request to HTTPS. So that's why we can do these kind of things. But for now, we just open this and let's try to refresh it again. And now we can see that the application is accessible, and also you can see the data is we can also see. And if I just, okay, so maybe it's working from, like, as it's working from here, I will just open it in this tab. And yes, we can see that the application is working fine. Okay, the data is showing fine. Now, first of all, I will delete the instance that we have used to create the AMI. So for that, this was the instance. So I will just terminate this. So now, like, as we can access our application. So as we were talking about the security group, it was not working for 80 and should always working for 443. So for that, we need to integrate few things. So the first thing that we will integrate is we will enable our CloudFront. So as per our architecture, you can see that the things like so far, like this is the box from load balancer to RDS working fine. Now we have to configure these four things. So let's configure that thing. So I will go to load balancer, and here you can integrate it with multiple things like global accelerator if you want to deploy applications in multi regions instead of multi AZ. Then also it has AWS config, BAF, and all those things. So we need to work with CDN instead of load balancer. So we will integrate it by clicking here, and I just need to apply application layer acceleration and security. Then after that, you have to provide the security best practices. So here you can see you just need to check it. And later on, related to SSL TLS certificate, we will be going to do it in different mode. So for now, I will just keep it as it is and apply it. And this will start creating your CloudFront security group. At the end, it will create the CloudFront. So let's search for CloudFront. Then we should be able to see CloudFront. Also, we need to check the path. So it will create one BAF as well. So let's see the CloudFront. So now we can see that this is the CloudFront created, and it does not contain any domain. And that is, we did not specify those things, and we will be going to specify that thing as well. Currently, we can see that the BAF is created, and now it is enabled. So we have to modify a few things where we have to add the domain. So the domain name would be two-tier.pathak.com. And after that, click on next. And you can see here we couldn't find any ACM certificate in the US East region that covers the domains you specified. So I have already certificates added, but the point is that it does not have this subdomain, or I did not specify the domain. So what I'll do, so I will create a certificate, and this certificate is, request a public certificate. And now I will click on next. And the point I was showing that I spent around $180 related to certificate manager. So I will tell you that thing as well. So first of all, you just need to select the domains. And earlier in the previous certificate, I added www dot, but it should contain estates dot. So this way, it will be able to help. So whenever I want to add any kind of subdomain, it will help me to do that. Now, the main thing why I generate that cost, so it was because of allow export. I just enabled this thing, which is enable export, and in this you can export this certificate and private keys that we used to get whenever we generate a certificate, like private key and certificate key for use with any TLS workflow. So I can use those certificates in any workflow. So at the end, it makes sense that they will cost me for those things. So ACM will charge your account based on requested domains when the certificate is issued for the first time and for each renewal. So that's why, and I will say that try to keep it always disable export. At that moment, I just I didn't check that thing, and I just keep it enable export. So that was my good learning. That's it about the costing, I would say. So please select this disable export instead of enable export, and just forget this option. After that, you just need to click on request, and once you will click on request, it will automatically issue the certificate because I've already added the CNAME values and keys in my Cloudflare domain DNS provider. So that's why if I just refresh it, you will see that it will already status would be issued, as you can see pending validation. So if I just refresh it again, it should show issued, and yes, we can see that. Now, if I just come here to the CDN, and now you can see as soon as I did that, I don't need to refresh it. It is automatically did that thing. Now you can see that the certificate is here, and I just need to click on next. So before that, I will just show you whether we are able to access the application or not. So I will just, access this, and we can see that this is on HTTPS and still it's not working. So I will click on add domains, and after that, so now you can see that one or more alias specified for the distribution or includes in incorrectly configured DNS records, and that is the issue is from my Cloudflare because I did not delete the CloudFront provided domain. So that's why I have to remove it first, and then I can click on this. So let me do that first. I have deleted my records from the Cloudflare, so now I can click on add domains, and now as you can see that it is already distribution update successfully, so it's working. Now, as soon as I do that, I should be able to access my application here within some time. So we have to give some time as well because it is in the, I would say, deploying mode, so that we can say. So let's wait for it. And also let's check few of the security groups that I, want to take the measure of those things. So first of all, let's check the security group for load balancer. So this is our load balancer security group. And here we will just disable the 80, and I will just remove this. So after that, we will, as you can see, this is a CloudFront 2 tier. So here we can see the records, and we can see 80. This is the distribution ID. So like, why this HTTP is working, like why they have added HTTP, because this is applicable for CloudFront domain that they provided, like .NET and all those things. So I will just come here, and I can see that .NET, this distribution domain name. And if I just, try to access it, so it should be working, I would say. And let's see, it's working on HTTPS as well, but we are not going to do anything here, and we just need to access our application. And as already we have disabled the application load balance to provide the traffic on HTTP. So if I try to access the application on, so as soon as we try to access the application on HTTP, so it redirecting the request to HTTPS. So that is the thing that we are able to do. Now let's try to access it, and I'm expecting that it should be working right now. And again, yeah, it's taking some time. Let's check whether it is deployed or not. So yeah, my bad. Actually, I did not add the this domain to our Cloudflare domain name provider. And if you're using GoDaddy or Pogbun, so you have to add this record. This would be my record I have to provide, and I will click on add row. So as you can see, this is my Cloudflare, and where I have added this. This is my target, which is CloudFront domain, and this is my subdomain 2-tier. And like if you're using Cloudflare, make sure to disable it because it doesn't work with orange enable. And after that, I just need to click on save. So I'm expecting that it should be working now. And now, as soon as I refresh it, so I can access my application on 2-tier.amanpathak.com. And also, you can install this app, create React app sample, kind of that. And let's check the data. So yeah, we can see this data. If I try to delete the data, so we can also do that. If I try to add some other record, so we can also do that. And yeah, it's working fine. So yeah, this is it for this. And also you can see this currently there is only one instance available. So as we can see, there is one instance only. So first of all, I will remove these things like whatever we have, because each and everything is working fine as per our requirements. WAF is also integrated. Certificate manager is also working fine. CloudFront is also working fine. Now the main thing is that we have to scale this application. So let's try to play with the auto scaling group, where we will add some load on our machine, and that will increase the number of machines. So let's go to first EC2 instance, and I've already deleted the instance that we used for the first time. So I will just go to this and connect with this instance. And now just I will log into this machine, and I should be able to SSH into this machine. I will log into the machine first. So we are going to increase the load using a stress command. So for that, we need a package stress ng. So this will help us to, increase the load. Then after that, we will be going to run this command, which is stress ng and the CPU 4, and then it will time out in 5 minutes. So for now, let's check the monitoring and let's see like what is the current CPU utilization. So current the CPU utilization is less than 1 as well. So I will just run this, and within some time or some seconds, it should start increasing the load. And at the end, this will trigger the auto scaling group to create one more instance. So let's come here, instance management, and we will just keep refreshing it. And it's not going to work within 2 to 3 minutes. It takes some time, like 4 to 5 minutes. So first of all, we need to monitor the CPU utilization. So let's do that, and I'm expecting that it will increase the load. So let's check the CPU utilization. I'm expecting that it should increase, and we can see that it went from 0 to 10. And let's see whether the instance creation is started or not. I don't think so, but yeah, let's wait for it. And maybe like the instance type is maybe it's a medium, so that's why maybe it will be able to handle it. Or else let's try for CPU 8. So this will maybe add some more stress on the machine. So let's see. So let's wait for it. So now we can see that our like there is one more instance created, and this way like it is triggered auto scaling to create one more instance, and that is in the initializing mode as well. So if we keep refreshing our application, so there won't be any issues, and this way we will see our application is working fine. So you can see there is no issues related to backend and front end, and also the database also working fine. So if I just try to add more data, so it's working fine. And if we will try to do it here. So yeah, that's working fine, and I hope that you understand how can we work with two-tier infrastructure and how can we deploy our applications on two-tier infrastructure, because a lot of organizations prefer two-tier architecture instead of three, because and the reason behind it that they don't want to incur a lot of cost They don't want to spend a lot of cost on three-tier architecture, as it needs a dedicated machines and a dedicated also auto scaling group. So that's why. But so that's kind of mentality they prefer, and it all depends on uh, requirement as well, and which is fine from their perspective. So yeah, that's it for this video. And I'm also going to show you the cleanup, because it is very important when you have created these much services. So we need to make sure that how can we delete all those services. So if we face some sort of issues while deleting those services or cleaning up those resources, so we can also see how can we do that. So I will also show you that thing. So like I would say, don't skip this video if you don't know how to clean up those resources. This is also one of the important thing, because we did not configure these resources using Terraform. So we have to delete it manually. So let's start with the first thing. If you want me to, I can just final time, I can refresh this and we can see that our both instances are in running state. And if we just refresh it, it's working fine. Home is working fine. So yeah, that's working fine. And that's amazing, isn't it? So yeah, I can also see the data is also able to delete it. So let's focus on the cleanup, and I will, let's clean up the resources one by one. So the first, okay, first of all, I'll just remove these things, and I will also remove this diagram. Okay. So the first thing we have to delete is we have to delete the auto scaling group. Okay. Now after deleting the auto scaling group, we would like to delete RDS, because it takes a lot of time to delete the RDS. So that's why I'm just preferring the RDS first. And make sure just uncheck it, because we don't want to take any snapshot. Click on this, like uncheck this, and I acknowledge and provide delete me. Okay, then after that we will be going to I would say we will be going to delete CloudFront, because CloudFront is also there. So I will delete this CloudFront, and first of all I need to disable it, so I will click on disable. Then after that I need to delete WAF. So WAF is already integrated with CloudFront. So first of all, CloudFront need to disable it. So that is one of the issues. But no worries, we will try to delete first, whether we are able to do it or not. And you can see that there is error showing, which is fine. Won't mind. And now we can, as it is disabled, now we can delete it. So as it is getting disabled, like as it is again in the deploying state, so it will take some time. Okay, no worries. Meanwhile, we can delete load balancers, as the auto scaling group is already deleted. So that's why. So I will click on this and delete the load balancers. Now load balancer is deleted. After that, we have to delete the target group. And the target is because the load balancer is still in the deleting state, I would say. So that's why it was not working. Now it should work. Deleting not the individual. Okay, so it is associated with, I would say, auto scaling group. So that's why it was giving the error. Now we can see that it is also deleted. And as the auto scaling group is like, is in the deleting state, so it should delete the EC2 instances automatically as well. So we can delete it manually, because I don't want to incur any of the cost if we have some time to delete it. And after that, let's see whether our CloudFront is in the disable state or not. Again, it's in a deploying state. Okay, no worries. Also, we need to delete this. We don't need this parameter store right now. After that, we would like to delete security groups according to the requirements. So I would simply go with this two-tier CloudFront maybe CloudFront one will not work, but I will try to delete security group from here, and we can see that few of them can't be deleted. Expected. No worries. Let's wait for some time. So now we can see that it is modified. So let's try to delete the CloudFront as well. Okay, now it is deleted. So the WAF will also be can also be deleted. We can see that it should. Okay. So as soon as the CloudFront gets deleted, so WAF is already disappeared. WAF is also deleted. Okay, now let's go to RDS. Let's check whether is still there or it's deleted. So we can see there is no, like it is in the deleting state. So let's wait for some time. So now let RDS is taking time, so we can jump onto the networking services. And one of the important service that net gateway, we have to delete it first. So for that, I will just go to the route table first. And here I need to remove the net gateway from here. And I will just keep the changes saved. Now I will delete this net gateway. Then we have to delete the elastic IPs as well. So there is one elastic IP available because of net gateway. So we need to release it. And again, it's used, so we don't need to. So we need to wait some time. We need to wait for some time. Yeah. So now the database has been deleted. So what we can do, we have to delete the subnet groups. So we have one created the subnet group, which is 2 tier. So if we won't delete it, so it will give us issues related to when we are going to delete the subnet. So that's why I will click on delete. Then again, I will delete the elastic IPs. So I will release it. Let me refresh it again and let's try to release this. Okay. So let's check whether the net gateway is deleted or not. Okay, it's deleted. I don't know why it's giving error. Maybe now it won't. Now maybe it will work. Okay, let me check the locations. Okay, no worries. Let's delete the entire VPC. So it will tell us where are the gaps. So it's saying that it will delete all the things. And we can see all the things related to VPCs will be going to delete. And yes, we can see that each and everything has been deleted. Now we need to check the elastic IP, and that is there, and we need to release the elastic IP, and we can do it right away. Okay. And after that, we need to check few more things, which is ACM. I forgot to delete that. I don't think so. Like it's fine for me if I kept it. Okay, I'll just delete it, the ACM as well, as I don't need it right now. Okay. So we have each and everything gone, and uh, I would say that, yeah, the cleanup part has been completed. Final thing I would like to see, which is security group, because I don't want to keep security groups. Yeah. So there is no security group available right now. That is good. So that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something new, and that will help you to understand how things works in production ready. I always try to show you that how can you play with private network, not with public network, as it reduces a lot of stress when we working with public. So yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video. So if you do this project, feel free to share on LinkedIn. I would be happy to see. You can feel free to tag me over LinkedIn, like whatever, if you have done this project. So, and as already this is one of our roadmap for DevOps 45 days. So this will help you to, get a job ready DevOps engineer in 2026. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a good day.